Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination newsmakers talking points. Eid Mubarak to all of you and those who are celebrating Navratras. Happy Navratras as well to you. So to each and every one of you, one nation, many festivals is our big talking point on this auspicious occasion. Can festivals build bridges? Can politics be kept out of religion? We'll have two special guests joining us on a discussion that can show that you can actually discuss without the noise when it comes to contentious religious issues. But to our top story, it's been a weekend like no other, a weekend which celebrates the unique diversity and pluralism of this wonderful country called India. One nation, many festivals. Today the nation celebrated Eid ul-Fitr. But it's been, of course, as I said, a weekend with festivities, a symbol of that vibrant cultural tapestry. While thousands of people did namaz across the country, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan, only yesterday we saw Gudi Padwa, the Maharashtra New Year, and the beginning of Navratras. We saw across India other kinds of festivals being celebrated. The multicultural ethos, Navratri celebrated by Kashmiri Hindus, Cheti Chand celebrated by the Sindhi community, Ugadi celebrated across states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Karnataka. This, to my mind, is the uniqueness of India. In a moment, I'm going to be joined by voices to tell us, can festivals build bridges, particularly in the times where political polarization continues? Because while those images remain heartening of religious diversity, the fact is, politics continues to be played out, with politicians using every opportunity, it appears, to strengthen identity politics. The latest being the debate, the growing shrill debate over the Waqf bill that is likely to be tabled this week in Parliament. Take a look at that and then we'll come to our special talking point.
Thousands celebrate Eid ul-Fitr across the country, but the celebrations turned political. In Uttar Pradesh, the Yogi government barred Muslims from performing namaz on roads, warning of arrest and cancellations of passports if the rule is violated. Celebrations were peaceful, but under a heavy blanket of security. Samajwadi chief Akhilesh Yadav claims he was blocked from performing namaz.
जानबूझ करके पुलिस ने मुझे रोका। मैंने जानना चाहा कि भाई क्यों नहीं जाने दे रहे हो? पूरी बैरिकेडिंग लगा करके मुझे आधे घंटे जब बात की तब जाने दिया बड़ी मुश्किल से। आखिरकार इसको मैं क्या मानूं, क्या समझूं? इसको मैं तानाशाही समझूं? मैं इसको इमरजेंसी समझूं?
देखिए, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना सरकार का काम, लेकिन विपक्ष हमेशा नकारात्मक जो है माहौल, नकारात्मक संदेश, नकारात्मक विचार, सोच पैदा करते हैं.
In Bengal, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee stoked controversy after she accused the BJP and the left of colluding to stoke violence.
ममता बनर्जी अपीसमेंट की पॉलिटिक्स करती है और सीपीएम भी अपीसमेंट की पॉलिटिक्स करती है. सीपीएम और ममता बनर्जी एक ही साथ है, एक ही साथ है.
The shadow of the Waqf bill loomed over celebrations as several offered namaz with black bands on their arms. The centre and the opposition are locked in a war of words, with sources saying the bill will be tabled on April 2nd.
लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से हम इसका विरोध करेंगे. हमने वक्तव्य भी जारी किया है. हमने 5 जो कारण है हम इसके खिलाफ हैं उसको भी हमने जनता के सामने रखा है. पर सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ये हमारे संविधान के खिलाफ है. संविधान पर खिलाफ है और हमारे संसदीय प्रणाली का भी ये उल्लंघन करता है.
Some people are saying that this Waqf amendment bill is unconstitutional. This Waqf rule, this Waqf provisions, these were in existence before independence. The falsehood is breaching all the records. They are saying that this Waqf amendment provision will take away the qabrastans and the masjid. What can be a more blatant lies than this?
India is a land of diverse festivals, but is politics disrupting the nation's festive fervour? Bureau Report, India Today.
So let me raise the big questions on this auspicious day. Do festivals help build bridges in the times in which we live? Can bridges be built during polarizing times, during festivals? Can politics be kept out of religious festivals? Can the festive fervour really build interfaith harmony? Or am I a dreamer? Joining me now, two special guests. Najeeb Jung is former Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and former Vice Chancellor of the Jamia Millia Islamia. And Gauranga Das is member ISKCON and director. Appreciate your joining us, both of you, on the show today. I want to come to you, Najeeb Jung. First of all, happy Eid. Eid Mubarak to you. And happy Navratras also to you, Gauranga Das. That's the beauty of this country, one nation, many festivals. But to you, Najeeb Jung ji, do you believe that festivals can build harmony, or with all the restrictions that government tries to now put, especially in Eid this time, namaz yahan mat karo, namaz wahan mat karo, do you believe some of that festive fervour is being lost?
Rajdeep, thank you for calling me on your program, particularly with someone like Mr. Gauranga Das, who's such an eminent spiritual person. Thank you very much. Now, this was a year which was the biggest opportunity for this government to undo many of the deeds of the past 10 years. The end of Ramzan and the beginning of Navratri, what a lovely occasion to understand the common rivers of religions flowing into this large Indian Ocean. Therefore, I think that, and I was talking to a friend of mine who's a very thinking person, that, it's not a question of building bridges. It's actually a question of intermingling of communities. These are rivers which are flowing together, and we have to help join them. Unfortunately, the last 10 years have been very bitter, and particularly for the Muslim community, when all hints have been given by this government that you are the other. So this year, now, while I appreciate the Prime Minister sending Eid kits to people, I think that's a pretty facile gesture. The better gesture would have been, and it would have built a tremendous confidence in the minorities, had the gates of Racecourse Road and Rashtrapati Bhavan been opened by open invite to people of all religions, say 1,000 invites each. It has been a tradition in India by presidents and prime ministers to call people on Eid and meet them. And this was a particularly special occasion with the beginning of Navratri. Unfortunately, as you have said yourself, we have had a very bitter 10 days with restrictions on Eid holiday being taken away, people not being able to say the namaz. Let me give you an example, Rajdeep. The Eid is a very special day, and almost everyone comes out to pray. It's the end of Ramzan. Ramzan is a very holy month where the Quran was bestowed on the Prophet. So at the end of that month, people come out in large numbers. There's gaiety, there's fun, there's eating. And when they pray, the numbers are so large in these large mosques that it's obvious that there will be sprinkling on the roads. Now, I remember my childhood that on the steps of Jama Masjid and beyond, people would lay down their prayer mats and pray. There is no hindrance to anyone in those areas when people lay out and pray. It's half an hour exercise, but it brings such pleasure to people all over the country to pray together, and then to go to the homes of their Hindu and Christian brethren and embrace them and take sweets to their homes, and their friends coming to their homes and eating together. Unfortunately, this year, all that has been negated. It is being repeatedly negated in the last 10 years. This was an opportunity which this government lost.
Okay.
Now, are there attempts by this government to improve things? I would say no. I would say that there are facial gestures made every now and then, but when it comes to the crux, then the message, at least, and let me talk of the Muslim community since we are on Eid and I'm wishing Eid to all of you, that this was an opportunity. The last 10 years, for example, you start with Tibble Talaq, you come into the CAA, you come into NRC, you have the lynchings, you have the bulldozings, you can't pray in mosques. And today, Muslims can't construct a new mosque. Muslim graveyard spaces are restricted. They can't increase their space. So what is the message that we are giving? We are telling them that you guys came to India and harassed us. You guys came in India and destroyed our temples. You guys came to India and harassed our women. And therefore, this is the time that we get back to you. But in the 21st century, this is the time for love, Rajdeep. It's a very, very disturbed world. India can be a leader in telling the world that Muslims in India and Hindus in India and Christians in India live in a different tone. We must send that message. The young in India must be told that you are brothers and sisters, that there will be no love jihad, there will be intermingling, there will be intermarriages, there will be interrelationships. Our mohallas are one, our lanes are one, our language are one. And that is why I always say, and often quote Bulle Shah when he says, Ke khelungi hori keh bismillah. That is the India we know. That is the India.
You've been very evocative, and I allowed you, ample space to really reflect upon the times in which we live, and you've spoken about it beautifully. The need to bring people together to ensure that we are part of one great civilization in a way. Gauranga Das, was Najeeb Jung being romantic? Yeah. Do you believe there is space in the times in which we live, where politics now plays such a role in religion, to actually look at religion as bringing people together rather than dividing it, particularly in festive times?
Thank you, Rajdeep, for inviting me, and thanks, Najeeb ji, for sharing your thoughts. I want to just begin by saying that, the word religion ultimately comes from the Latin word religio, which is basically reverence for the God, or conscientiousness, or scrupulousness, or sense of right, moral obligation, or duty. And basically, in terms of multiple religions, there are between 5,000 to 10,000 religions in the world. 5 of them are dominant. And the Islamic community is almost 25% planet, and 15% is Hindus. One interesting difference is there are 50 countries which are Islamic, whereas there are only 3 which are predominantly Hindu, India and Nepal being amongst the 2. So there has to be some understanding of how we approach this topic. I would say that the fundamental principle is to figure out that all religions, irrespective of what their names may be, they deal with only 5 main principles. First is, what is my current experience? Second is, where do I want to go after death? Third is, what experience I want to have after reaching that destination post-death. Fourth is, what is the path I want to take to reach that destination? And fifth is, what are the obstacles I will face in this journey and how do I deal with it? So whether it is Quran or Bible or the Gita or the Vedic literatures or the Guru Granth Sahib or any of these religions, they are all speaking about the journey of the soul, which is beyond one life. So ultimately, one of the biggest challenges I see is when people do not understand the topic fully and they have not been given the context of what they are practicing, and they have not been told that spirituality is a very beautiful way by which you can resolve one of the major pains which each one of us is facing in this day and age, which is the pain caused by identity crisis, pain caused by change with respect to our identity to the body, identity to our husband, wife, identity with respect to kids, identity with respect to money, identity with respect to social influence, identity with respect to our career. When we go through this change in identities with respect to matter, then all world religions are speaking about an alternative way by which you can identify with something which will never change, which is called the soul. And that's why it is called spirit or the spiritual path. And therefore,
But sir,
I
the
would say
spiritual
that
part,
one of
sir,
the
sir,
biggest need.
sorry, just for a moment to stop you, but the spiritual part that you speak about so evocatively is being replaced, some would believe, by the politicization of religion, of pitting one community against the other, making you more conscious about your community identity, and thereby making it them versus us, and othering of someone who belongs to a different community. Where does spirituality then play a role if there is going to be this othering of those who have different religious practices?
I don't really agree with this, Rajdeep ji. I feel that in the last 10 years, there has been a tremendous amount of support which has been given to all kinds of spiritual communities in India. And I have personally interacted with many religious and spiritual leaders, including Islamic leaders. And there is a sense of confidence that overall, ultimately, people are looking for what? They are looking for some security, they are looking for economic development, they are looking for better infrastructure, they are looking for development. And the way the development model has been rolled out, it has not minimized any particular community or not excluded any particular community. In fact, all communities have been part of this development process.
So
And
you believe
everyone
that there
has,
is, so you
and I
believe
would
that there
say,
is genuinely sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas is actually a reality? To you, it's a
I
reality?
I do I do feel so based on actions with several leaders of religious minorities and other developmental sector across the various sections of society. My interaction may have limited
No, but despite the
my
issues that have been
particular
raised today,
experience.
no, but despite the issues that Najeeb Jung is raising, he raises the issues of lynching, he raises the issue of, dare I say, the invisibilization, the demonization of minorities, the othering of minorities. You believe that sabka saath, sabka vikas exists on the ground because of a common development model. Am I correct?
Raj, one thing I've realized is sometimes loud is not always large. So what comes out loudly in the media, unless we have a proper understanding of what the actual data is, it's very difficult to make a comment. So sometimes loud is considered synonymous with large. So actually, as we have the data, we don't really have the ability to come
Okay.
to a conclusion on what is really right. Because sometimes a lot of people who are benefiting may not have the means to be evocative or speak up that they are benefiting. Whereas if some few people are speaking out loud, that should not always be interpreted as, the reality or the large.
Najeeb Jung, respond to what you heard. Gauranga Das says there's a lot of media noise, and maybe that noise amplifies some of the more extreme elements. But there is, according to him, a belief that sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas does happen. Development, if there is a toilet which is being built, you don't discriminate whether the toilet is for a Hindu or Muslim. And thereby, there is a sense that you can build a mutual coexistence. How do you respond to that?
Rajdeep, with due respect to Das Sahab, I'm eon miles away from what he is saying. I do not know which spiritual leaders he is referring to, but I can take him to, he can come with me to any Muslim leader in this country. And with due responsibility, I can say that there is a tremendous sense of unease. There is a sense of fear. There is a sense of insecurity. And that holds true for the Sikh community and for a large extent, to the Christian community and to the large extent to the Sikh community. So perhaps in the halo temples that Das Saab goes, he may be meeting people who are
No,
who are
is the
comfortable
fear
in that.
imaginary? Is the fear imaginary or real? Is the fear built on stereotypes? Is the fear built on this propaganda machine that has been unleashed by, as I said, certain extreme segments that benefit perhaps from creating a divide?
Well, then let's see, put your mouth where the money is. Why don't you and Das Sahab come with me and let's walk the streets of Delhi and go into a Muslim area and without disclosing our identity, speak to them? Why don't you go to the JNU and the Jamia Millia Islamia? Why would you not go to the AMU and speak to the Muslim boys there? And why would we not go to other universities and speak of enhanced communalization in the country in the last 10, 15 years? Look, communalization has been existing in this country for many, many years. Let's not put that under the carpet. The question is enhancement of communal feelings, enhancement of insecurity, and a sense of injustice. So therefore, I stick to what I said, that we should not put these things under the carpet anymore. The elephant in the room is a communal society and the lion has to be bayed in the den. People have to be educated. People have to be spoken frankly to and not pushed under the carpet. We must tell people that communalization is bad for the country. If the country is to progress, our youth must think on secular lines. That, of course, the spirit is great. We must teach them the Gita. We must make them read the Quran. How many young people are reading the Bible today, for instance? How many of your colleagues are reading the Guru Granth Sahib, for example? How many people know of the greatness of Baba Nanak today? So let us come to reality and let us understand that the political masters of this country are playing a deadly game, which is not going to pay in the long run. It is harming the country, and we are trying to not admit and see the reality in front of us.
Can I ask both of you, and you, Gauranga Das, first, to define, therefore, the meaning of true Indian secularism? The fact is, as I said, this is a country of many festivals, many religions. It's plural in the truest sense. It's a multi-faith country with one of the largest Muslim populations in the world. How do you build, what is your definition, Gauranga Das, of true Indian secularism?
Thank you, Rajdeep ji. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, where we allow dharma to be implemented and to be practiced by all as per their particular faith, as per their Shraddha. The Prime Minister, in his 15-point program for the minorities, has actually created enhancing opportunities for education, ensuring an equitable share for minorities in economic development, and improving the conditions of living minorities by ensuring an appropriate share for them in infrastructure development schemes. And prevention and control.
But as just for a moment, you see, there seems to be a double track. While the Prime Minister speaks the language of inclusion, you will also have those who will, from time to time, demonize Muslims, who will use the kind of language, which I don't even want to use on TV, which essentially makes Muslims feel that they are second-class citizens in this country. There is that language also which is consistently used in a way.
As I said, there are many people to speak on the Gita, or they may misrepresent. Sometimes everybody present Aaj Tak or India Today the way you represent. So, it's important who represents that particular, denomination. So I'm just letting you know that there has not been an exclusion, whereas if you actually go and see with respect to educational empowerment, scholarship schemes have been provided, and there is Maulana National Fellowship Scheme which has been worked into, and there is Naya Savera free coaching and allying, which aims to enhance skills and knowledge of students and candidates from minority communities.
No, but in all of that, where do, in all of that, where do comments like love jihad, of virtually suggesting that an interfaith marriage in some way is love jihad, or when politicians use words like vote jihad, somewhere down the line, doesn't that, in your view, promote a certain divide on the ground? Vote bank politics? I come back to it. When you politicize religion, where is the spiritual element then left?
as you know, Rajdeep, India is an extremely complex society, and the intertwining of various kinds of cultures, languages, castes, subcastes, and various nuances so complex that it is not so easy for just a black and white analysis of going on in the society based on some degree of analysis of specific silo activities happening in parts of the country. So if you look at Sikho or Kamao, one of the federal development schemes unleashed by the government, it's a skill development initiative for minorities. And a mission has been launched by the Ministry of Minority Affairs for upgrading the skill and training in traditional arts and crafts, USTT AD, and I'm in Palghar district. And I've personally seen how the tribals and the communities have benefited from all of these on the ground. So more than
Right.
35 Hunar Haats have been organized at Delhi, Puducherry, Mumbai, Prayagraj, so many places. Nai Manzil, a scheme to provide education and skill training to the youth from minority communities. Gharib Nawaz employment training program. So actually, I feel that times we get trapped by the loud, whereas we have to actually go in a very organized manner to go based on data. And that's why sometimes I feel that there should be one election, so that after all the elections are over, there is solid 5 years given for developmental work, rather than election after election after election, and the drama continues and nobody is
Okay.
able to actually sift between reality between and what's the noise.
Your definition then, Najeeb Jung, you heard Gaurang Das saying, in a way, he seems to suggest the practical reality on the ground. If government schemes are benefiting all communities, then in a way, that's the way to promote coexistence and equality. Your definition of Indian secularism and why you seem to believe it's under threat.
Rajdeep, listening to Gauranga Das Sahab, I was reflecting that this seems a speech on government publicity, because the facts on the ground are dramatically different. And I think what we were talking of is what the communities feel. Now, secularism, as I understand, is that you leave your religion at home, but we are equal to all in public. You and I are equal. We stand together as Indian citizens who believe in the Constitution of India. You can be a good Hindu, I can be a good Muslim. I truly believe that a man who believes in religion has to be secular. That is my firm belief. And therefore, if you are secular, then you will not restrict namaz on Fridays, that you will open your doors to Muslims and not just allow the kavariyas on the roads for 14 days and shower petals on them, whereas other religions can look askance. In my mind, in a secular country, you will not ask Muslims to put a label on their shops saying that this is Jung juice shop or Jung meat shop. I don't think that in a secular country that happens. And that is something that has to be fought. So it has to be fought by government, not by publicity in pamphlets, but look at hard facts, what brought out by the Sachar committee, by the Radhakrishnan committee, Ramachandran committee, sorry. And we have to look at what's happening on the field, in the digging up of mosques, in the regular demolitions that take place, in the fact that young boys are in jail. Umar Khalid has now entered his 5th year in jail, and judges go on leave when his bail application comes up. So let's look at the reality on the ground, and then look at the concepts of true secularism as we have, as we should have. And then I think that if we decide to follow the Constitution of India, then nothing can take secularism away from India. That is the best possible document that we have in front of us, however much of a publicity we may do otherwise.
I've heard two contrary views, and I believe that we need a dialogue without the noise. We may have differing perspectives. Gauranga Das and Najeeb Jung may have given me very differing perspectives of how they see the situation today. But I'm sure both of you would be very happy to have and be part of an interfaith dialogue. We seem to talk at each other rather than talk to each other. Maybe that's one way forward, Gauranga Das, that you need to reach out. Yes, Najeeb Jung, you want to make a point?
No, we have been trying this dialogue. Rajiv, I've appeared on your show on this.
Yes, I know.
We have been dialoguing with the Rashtriya Sevak Sangh, and we've been dialoguing for 4 years. We've been meeting members of all communities and trying to enhance better relations. We have tried our best, and we are trying. The point is that we are not able to control the lumpen on the street. The genie is out of the bottle. Now, I don't know truly the efforts that are being made by this government into putting the genie back, or even is it possible in the next 10 years? That is the monster that we are faced with. So dialogue is on. We are talking all the time. Even recently, we have had talks with the RSS and with the Muslim ulama. Each one agrees. We have had talks with the Muslim ulama, we've had talks with Sikh leadership, we've had talks with Christian leadership. Each one agrees with what Das Saab is saying, that we must dialogue and we must learn to live together. The ground reality is what I was talking of, is dramatically different.
That's the question, Gauranga Das. How do you get the average person to embrace the values, some of which were just represented by Najeeb Jung? To me, India is about Jio or Jeene Do. For me, it's about having Shrikhand and Puran Poli on Gudi Padwa, and then also celebrating an iftar with non-vegetarian food with my Muslim friends. Is that the uniqueness of India? How do you translate it to the average person on the street?
I think a fantastic example has been set by United Nations Environment Program, and in 2017 they created what is known as United Nations Faith Earth. And they said, okay, there is one area where a common ground for religions to unite as a common program, and that is how the earth is burning. And to achieve the sustainable development goals, we need the support of faith leaders across the world. I have seen over the last 7 years, because I was appointed as a United Nations Faith for Earth, that across the traditions, when people come together, having a dialogue on how we can arrest climate change and support sustainability, we find that it's an excellent common beginning for a dialogue to happen. So the heaviest thing to hold, as per the Gita, is grudge, and life is too precious to be wasted in repeated postmortems. And in the war of egos, the winner is the biggest loser. Those who obsess with what is wrong overlook what is right, and those who commit to nothing are distracted by everything. And all religions actually say that don't compare yourself with others, compare yourself only with the person you were yesterday. And that all religions say that happiness comes not by maximizing our possessions.
But how do I communicate that to the average person on the street who's being almost fed a daily drivel of hate? How do I communicate that to people? How do I... Pyar baantna bahut mushkil hai, nafrat phailana bahut aasan. This is a dialogue from a Hindi film. That's the worry, that we can come to TV studios, talk about spirituality, talk about love. On the ground, those who are the merchants of hate seem to be able to influence people's minds. WhatsApp groups, all designed to promote hate, Gauranga Das, rather than promote love and togetherness.
Sir, as I said, media का भी बहुत important जिम्मेदारी है, responsibility है. And I would say that, as I said, the tendency in this world is negative spreads faster and speedier than love, and therefore it is not necessary that more hate is actually happening. Again, I come back to the point that what you see being spoken loudly and largely may not always be the reality, and therefore we need people with maturity to understand the ground reality better and have dialogue and consensus, cooperation and collaboration rather than conflict and competition.
I do hope, though, that those fine words that have been expressed will actually translate into reality. I agree with you. The media also has a major role to play. The media tends to amplify sometimes the more extreme voices, has less and less space for voices of moderation, for voices of harmony. My attempt today was to bring two voices in the hope that their fine words will actually get translated to action on the ground. We certainly need, in a country like ours, to treasure the spirit of pluralism and harmony that makes this truly an incredible India. Once again, to all my viewers out there, happy Eid and happy Navratras, happy Gudi Padwa, Navre, Cheti Chand, all the festivals of this great country. Bring them together. Allow India to become this unique melting pot. And to you, Najeeb Jung and Gauranga Das, I appreciate you joining me and not speaking loudly, but speaking in your own ways with different perspectives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Najeeb bhai.
Thank you.
Let's turn to the big story from the south, which comes from Malayalam film Empuran, starring superstar Mohanlal. The film is in the midst of a storm over its portrayal in some scenes of the 2002 Gujarat riots. The RSS and the BJP claimed the film promoted an anti-Hindu agenda, prompting the filmmakers to agree under pressure to make cuts to the movie. Superstar Mohanlal has gone as far to apologize, claiming the movie caused great distress to many and says he will ensure that films respect all religions. Sources say Empuran's makers are cutting as many as 17 scenes, including the riot scenes, by half. The edited version will be screening in theatres from April 2. Listen in to what Mohanlal and others had to say.
A movie is a movie, and therefore people should not read too much into it or too less into it. In any event, without us saying anything or anybody saying anything, the producers have decided, because of the feedback, I think commercial feedback, that they want to cut the movie and they want to make edits and recensor the movie, submit it for recensorship. And somebody asked me, are you sad that Mohanlal would make a movie like this or star in a movie like this? And I said, yes, I'm sad. That's all. If Pinarayi Vijayan loves the movie, he can watch it 10 times. I have no problem with it. And if somebody dislikes the movie, as many people have, they are absolutely within their right to dislike it and criticize it.
കലാകാരന്മാർക്ക് സാമൂഹിക പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെ വിമർശിക്കാനും സമൂഹത്തിലൂടെ എത്തിക്കാനും അവകാശമുണ്ട്. ചില ഭാഗങ്ങളിപ്പോൾ ഒഴിവാക്കും എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പോലും ബാക്കി ഭാഗം എത്ര ഒഴിവാക്കിയാലും മനുഷ്യൻ ഒന്നാണെന്ന് കാണിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സന്ദേശമാണ്. ജാതിയും മതവുമല്ല, വർഗീയ ചിന്തകൾക്ക് അതീതമാണ് മനുഷ്യൻ. തൻ്റെ ഇടത്തോടു കൂടി ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സിനിമ നിർമ്മിച്ച പൃഥ്വിരാജിന് ഒരു അഭിവാദ്യം ഞാൻ അർപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്.
कांग्रेस का ये तरीका नहीं है कि वो एक फिल्म को लेकर के लोगों को बरगलाने का काम करे. वो काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी करती है. केरल फाइल्स को देख लीजिए, कश्मीर फाइल्स को देख लीजिए, और उसके अलावा अभी जो एक फिल्म आई थी छावा, उसके ज़रिए से कितनी नफरत फैलाई गई है. ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का काम है, नफरत फैलाना.
Now, amidst all the festive celebrations and what we heard in that discussion about the need to put harmony first, the truth is there are parts of the country that continue to suffer from communal scars. Just a few days after what we saw happen in Nagpur, today we saw the tension in Bid, where a mosque was rocked by an explosion early Sunday morning just before the Eid celebrations. The blast was caused by 2 gelatine sticks. The blast has led to the arrest of Vijay Gawane and Sriram Sagde. But the opposition now claims that the Maharashtra government hasn't done enough to end this climate of distrust and hatred between communities. Is Maharashtra now becoming India's latest communal cauldron? That's our ground report from Bid.
A mysterious explosion near a mosque in Bid, Maharashtra, has created an atmosphere of fear. On Sunday, gelatin sticks triggered an explosion near the mosque just ahead of Eid celebrations. Fans, windows and doors of the mosque were shattered, but there were no casualties. 2 accused, Vijay Gawane and Sriram Sagde, have been arrested.
2 आरोपी आमच्या ताब्यात आहे. FIR दाखल झालेली आहे आणि सगळ्या लोकांना आश्वासित केलेले आहे त्यामध्ये चांगल्या प्रकारे परफेक्ट तपास त्यामध्ये होईल जेणेकरून आरोपीला एकदम कडक शिक्षा त्यामध्ये भेटू शकतो.
The cops claim a personal feud was the motive behind this mosque blast. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has promised a stringent probe.
उसकी जानकारी मिली है, किसने किया ये भी जानकारी मिली है. उसकी बाकी जानकारी वहाँ के जो एसपी है वो प्रेस लेकर देंगे.
But MIM Chief Owaisi claims the accused were let off easily.
सरकार जो ये आरोपी है इसमें इन्वॉल्व, उसके खिलाफ UAPA का कड़क कायदा लगाए, कड़क कानून लगाए, उनको जल्द से जल्द फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में इनका केस चले और कड़ी सजा मिले।
मुसलमानों के खिलाफ रोजाना नफरत भरी बातें करना, ये उसी का नतीजा है।
Reeling from tensions fueled by the Aurangzeb controversy, security has been beefed up and an uneasy calm prevails. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's stay with the breaking news that we are now getting and staying with Maharashtra. The Mumbai police a short while ago landed at stand-up comedian Kunal Kamra's doorstep in Mumbai. Remember, Kunal Kamra is away in Tamil Nadu and has got anticipatory bail, but the police are determined, it seems, to target the comedian at the stand-up. And they've reached Kunal Kamra's Mumbai residence. Kamra has repeatedly skipped the police summons and has responded saying, you are going to an address where I haven't lived for the last 10 years. It's a waste of your time and public resources. So it seems that the Mumbai police is determined in some way to keep the heat on Kunal Kamra. What does it intend to do? Divyesh Singh joins me. Divyesh, what is the Mumbai police trying to do? They know that Kunal Kamra is in Tamil Nadu. He's got anticipatory bail from the Madras High Court. What does the police want?
Well, Radeep, this is the official residence of Kunal Kamra, where in Mahim, where police team had reached in the evening. And today, that is the 31st of March, as per the second summons, Kunal Kamra had to appear before the police. We tried contacting senior police officials on why the police team reached Kunal Kamra's residence in the evening, but they denied to give any details. We checked again whether any new summons, any third summon has been given to Kunal Kamra, which was denied. They said that no third summons have been given, but a police team didn't reach there and they did not divulge any further information on why the police team had been to Kunal Kamra's residence. Only thing they said was this is Kunal Kamra's official residence or the official address that he provides on the government documents, and that is why police team had reached at this particular residence. He might be living somewhere else, but this is the official address that he provides.
But the police is
government documents or
but Divesh, the point is the police knows where Kunal Kamra is. Is this all now being done? Are they under pressure to send out a message to the Shiv Sainiks that they are trying to act? I mean, the truth of the matter is Kunal Kamra is far away from Mumbai. So what is the police trying to achieve?
Well, this is, as Rajdeep, as I pointed out earlier, he's temporarily living in Tamil Nadu, but this is his official residence or permanent residence. So this is the communication address that police has, and they've been communicating on this address. And remember, Rajdeep, on basis of the summons issued on this address, Kunal Kamra approached the Madras High Court. He's been receiving, getting information from this address. He's been getting communication from this address, and that is why he approached the Madras High Court and sought anticipatory bail, which provided him interim bail till the 7th of April. But he has to also submit a bond in the jurisdictional court, which is the Bandra Magistrate Court, for which he will have to come to Mumbai, and he has a residence in Mahim, where the police team had gone to contact him or to communicate with him in order to send any message.
Yeah, so the police is going by that. Okay, the police is going by protocol, but the truth of the matter is you're also then jeopardizing the security of relatives of Kunal Kamra, given the way the Shiv Sena has dealt with this issue. We'll keep tracking, of course, that issue, but that's the very latest that we have on that. Let's turn to our Get Real India story. Another supercar, another road rage incident where perhaps the accused will get away and the victims will suffer. A Lamborghini ran over several workers under an under-construction complex in Noida Sector 126, injuring 2 laborers. The police arrested the accused driver, but he's not the owner of the car. The alleged accused driver, Deepak, was arrested and he got bail in under 48 hours. Deepak, a car broker, claims he was taking the car for a test drive before the crash. But the police didn't add his name to the initial FIR until much later. The Lamborghini is owned by a popular YouTuber, Mridul Tiwari, and while he hasn't been arrested, the police have summoned him for questioning. The question, of course, is, will the accused get away all too easily yet again? Our correspondent Ashutosh has more.
क्या भाई स्टंट ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्टली है, स्टंट ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्टली है, कितना आदमी मरा पता है, मर गया इधर तो क्या, देख उधर, पुलिस को बुलाओ पहले, पुलिस को बुलाओ भैया.
This is the Lamborghini car, the high-speed car that ran over on Sunday evening. Several laborers, 2 were critically injured, were taken to hospital. It was late Sunday, early Sunday evening. All the laborers were waiting for their bus to transport back to their locations after their work was over. And it was all of a sudden between 4 to 5 p.m. the high-speed Lamborghini, Deepak, the person, the accused, who has been arrested by the police, was driving it, ran over all these laborers with extremely high speed in that particular area. Now we see the Lamborghini car. This is, of course, now this is part of the investigation. The police says do not touch. This was the entire surface body. There's a minor damage to the car, as we see. Only the rear mirror, the one side of the rear mirror has been damaged partially to this particular area. There's a minor dent on this part, and subsequently to the wheel side area, because this was exactly how the car ran over on the pedestrian side. So we see the some marks of the accident, and subsequently parts of the body, the upper body has been, we have seen a certain pieces were found at the particular site. So after the police seized this vehicle, this is now here at the police station in sector 126 Noida, as this become one of the evidence of this accident. Now what we know, reportedly the Deepak who was driving the car was keen to buy this vehicle, buy this luxurious car, a totally comfortable and high speed car. Very few people in India own this luxurious car. And the owner is Mridul Tiwari, a social media influencer known. The several videos that had gone on viral, we have seen when he was uncovering this car, there was a message written, Jai Shri Ram, on this. And Deepak, who was keen to buy, who was taking this car for a test drive. Eventually the test drive turned into a disaster, a high-speed car that ran over these laborers, 2 of them critically injured. In Noida, with Manish, this is Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
पगला का जैसा गाड़ी आ रहा है, हम लोग उड़ते उड़ते बस गाड़ी आ गई, नहीं भाग पाए, गिर गए, तो इसी चक्के में गाड़ी गिरा चढ़ा दिया, चढ़ गया चक्का, गिर गए थे, सुबह करके पटकुनिया होकर के गिर गया, लगा है.
Okay, let's turn to tonight's good news today story, and it comes from Patna University, where women have scripted history in the Patna University Student Union elections. For the first time in the university's history, women swept all the top 3 positions in student politics, sending a powerful message of change. ABVP's Mithili Mrinalini has been elected president. Independent candidate Saloni Raj managed to grab the general secretary post. Soumya Srivastav, the NSUI, was elected as the treasurer. This landmark victory marks a new chapter. Many believe in women's empowerment, suggesting that even cities like Patna now are sensing the change. Listen in to what the winners had to say.
अध्यक्ष पद से कोई जीते, और ये पर्सनली हमारा सपना रहा है कि इतने वर्षों में पहली बार कोई फीमेल प्रेसिडेंट बने, और इस बार हम इतने खुश हैं कि इतने सालों में पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि कोई महिला अध्यक्ष बन पाई है. एंड थैंक यू टू ऑल माय वोटर्स, थैंक यू टू ऑल दी भैयास, टू ऑल माय जूनियर्स, माय सीनियर्स हु केम आउट टू वोट टुडे. आई एम सिंसियरली वेरी मच ऑब्लाइज्ड टू यू, क्योंकि अगर आपने फेस नहीं दिखाया होता तो शायद ये पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाता.
That's it on the news today. Thanks for watching. Once again, Eid Mubarak to all of you. Good night, goodbye, Jai Hind, Namaskar.